Hi guys, how you doing? I tried making one of those walk and talk videos again on the beach, but I just listened back to it and it was way too windy. So I thought I'd just do one here instead. So what I wanted to talk about today is dealing with uncertainty, and this is I've been speaking to like a few clients this week, and it's a kind of big thing for them at the moment. I mean, uncertainty is always a part of life, but it's kind of, with the coronavirus and stuff, it's a kind of even bigger thing for people at the moment. And, a lot of people are kind of uncertain about, what's going to happen, what's going to happen financially for them, and of course they're also worried about, friends and family. And the idea, there's people who are probably already quite lonely, who've been asked to isolate even further. So it's kind of, it can be kind of, it's going to be a difficult time for a lot of people. But I'd say the most important thing during these kinds of situations is to be able to kind of maintain our own mental health. And although I've kind of never been through this particular situation before, I don't believe anyone has. It's kind of, we're all kind of dealing with the unknown. That I have certainly dealt with uncertainty before. I remember, I think about 8 or 9 years ago, my financial situation went really bad, and it seemed almost certain that I was kind of going to lose everything. And initially I responded to that by falling apart, but I remembered these three tools, and it was these three tools that got me through it and allowed me to kind of really function and kind of get myself back on track. Because as I said, the one thing we need to be able to do through these times of uncertainty is to maintain our mental health. So I'm going to share these three tools with you, and I promise you they do work. They absolutely do work. Don't let the fact that things are simple fool you. Like, simple doesn't mean ineffective. These can be incredibly effective. So the first tool is learning to ground ourselves. Now, grounding simply means bring your attention to one of the five senses. That's all grounding means. And it can be any one of the five senses. I think a lot of us kind of, our natural go thing will be, sensation or movement. I remember during my early 20s, I ended up in a very, very bad way mentally. Incredible anxiety. And the only relief I would get would be through walking. And while I was walking, because I was moving my attention to that kind of that movement, I would start to get some relief. Later on, when I trained to be a nurse, I came across a lot of people who were doing pretty similar things, like people pacing up and down and people rocking, and I kind of realized they're doing what I was doing. They're kind of intuitively trying to ground themselves, because they know when they do that, they get some relief. See, what's happening there is, a lot of the time, when we're kind of feeling, when there's some anxiety when there's some kind of stressor going on, or some uncertainty going on, it's like our mind likes to keep on talking about it and going over it. And, it's kind of like, repeatedly kind of trying to frighten us. Like, these thoughts kind of come repeatedly trying to kind of scare us. And I never ever seen any value in that. I mean, all that used to do was cripple me, and would kind of, lead to, it's kind of like basically winding myself up. The thoughts were kind of winding me up until I kind of reach a kind of critical point where I just feel completely overwhelmed. So what grounding ourselves does is move our attention away from that to something else. And just doing that one thing starts to calm everything down. We start to find a little bit of reprieve. Sure, we'll find our attention's going to be drawn back to it again, but just having, those bits of reprieve, those moments where we're grounded, it makes all the difference. Absolutely makes all the difference. So that's the first skill, learning to ground ourselves. And as I said, you can kind of do it, with physical sensation, but also kind of, you can do it. You can do it basically anything. That any focusing on sight can be very good. Focusing on even music, even if you kind of can really kind of give our full attention to the music, that can work as well for grounding us. So the next tool is appreciation. Now, appreciation, you actually need to have it to be able to do the first one, to be able to ground ourselves. We require appreciation, if only kind of a little bit. So what I mean here is, by bringing, in order for, say, me to keep my attention on that sense of movement, I need to be able to appreciate movement. Like if I couldn't give a damn about movement, I won't be able to kind of, keep my attention on it. So, appreciation is kind of already there as soon as we start to ground ourselves. But we can actually expand that sense of appreciation, where we're not only kind of, appreciating, particular, what we're trying to focus on, but whatever comes into our focus. So we start to be able to appreciate our surroundings. We start to be able to appreciate other people. This sense of kind of this, we develop the ability to see the beauty in everything, to see how everything is quite amazing. And this is an absolutely life-changing ability. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, we only tend to appreciate things when they're gone, or when there's a risk that they're going to be taken away. And I've kind of seen this in myself, working with people who are dying and stuff, that it was often only when they were dying that they kind of really learned to appreciate their lives and to see how valuable it is to be alive. We don't have to wait for things to be taken away before we appreciate them, that we can actually start to appreciate them right now. And see, the problem is that we kind of get into the habit, or at least I did, but I think everyone does, that we're waiting for life to kind of entertain us. But the way life entertains us is through novelty, but novelty can't last. So in the video that you're not going to see because it was too windy, I did it on the beach, but I was talking about how I used to visit that beach, and when I first moved here to Rayong, and I'd kind of walk along the beach, and I'd come back really refreshed and really rejuvenated from these walks. But once I got used to the beach, I was starting to find, myself more and more caught up in thinking. And the more I did that, I'd start coming back from these walks, sometimes even in a bad mood. So this kind of active appreciation is something that we have to learn to do. And as I say, we can start to kind of practice it in meditation, but also to start to, deliberately look at the beauty in things. And this refreshes us. And there's no reason, there's always beautiful things in our life. We've got this incredibly good deal. I think one of our mistakes is we treat life as if it's owed to us. As if, that life, owes us all these things, when really it's our job to appreciate what's there. And if we can't appreciate what's there, it's highly unlikely that whatever we're going to get, we're going to be able to appreciate it. So, and doing this, like deliberately, bringing our attention and appreciating things throughout the day makes a huge difference. And what I noticed with it, and I noticed this with other people as well, that when we kind of open up that perception of appreciation, we actually start to feel more stronger. We actually start to feel more capable. We actually start to feel less fearful. Actually, we really start to feel less fearful. So, really good for our mental health. So the final skill that I'm going to talk about is stillness. And stillness, actually, we start to experience it through developing those other two tools. So do you remember I said with the grounding that as we kind of ground ourselves, the mental stuff starts to slow down. And that mental kind of, the slowing down of our kind of, mental life, we experience that as stillness. And the trick is to learn to start appreciating that stillness. You can also kind of start to feel the stillness physically as well. And learning to spend time every day in that stillness. Now this can kind of take a little while to develop. It may not be a tool that people can kind of just go straight into right away, but it will come pretty soon. As soon as your mind starts to slow down, to start to appreciate that. Now, ideally with these three tools, it can be really helpful if we have a regular meditation practice, and you're kind of thinking about 20 minutes a day even, because that's where you can kind of practice these three things and then bring them into your life. But even if you can't meditate every day, and there was times in my life where I couldn't meditate every day, I was too kind of stressed out, whatever, just doing those three things whenever you can throughout the day will make a difference. It can make a huge difference. It can make all the difference. And they don't take, you don't need any kind of equipment to do them. You don't need they only take seconds, and even a second of grounding yourself can make a difference. And I remember there was times when, you know, all I could do was to kind of feel my fingers on the steering wheel, or feel my hands on the shopping trolley I was going around the supermarket, and I did get relief. You know, sometimes all I could do was just kind of look around and just, you know, appreciate the beauty that's around me, and that made all the difference. So that's it, guys. Please leave a like or a comment. You can also subscribe to the channel. That'd be fantastic. Okay, guys, and stay safe, and I'll see you next time.